Welcome new and old friends. My name is 242, and today 2 got a 7 glitch in the Matrix stories. So, turn off your lights, make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky.
I stole Mommy's car key so little brother and I can play pretend. I know we're not actually allowed to drive her car though, so we're keeping the garage door closed.
Strange man thought I was familiar to him, then vanished into thin air. By Bittersweet 0208. The glitch happens at the end of this story, but the build up to it was quite strange, so bear with me please. This happened just before Christmas 2019, and I guess it popped in my mind again recently due to being Christmas season. So, in December 2019, I was traveling by train back to my hometown. When I arrived at the train platform, I started walking towards the ticket machines. As I approached, there was an attendant standing by the machines. As soon as he turned and saw me, he loudly said to me, "Well, finally, you're here. I've been waiting 30 years for you to show up." I thought that was a very weird thing to say, especially since I was only 21 at the time. At a guess, the attendant was in his 50s. The way he said it was very happy and sincere, not sarcastic or even in a joking tone. Unfortunately, I was very shy and awkward, so I didn't ask what he meant. Wish now that I had. Then he asked me if he could help me with anything, so I asked him to help me buy a ticket, as I had never used a ticket machine before. As I was buying the ticket, he kept making really intense eye contact and looking at my face as if he recognized me and was trying to figure out if I was who he thought I was. I had only moved to the area 3 months before and had no family there, so he couldn't have mistaken me for an older relative of mine. I had definitely never seen him before, and it was my first time taking the train. Throughout the interaction, he asked me, "Are you going on another business trip?" Again, I was confused because I was clearly a 21-year-old student, not a businesswoman. I feel I should say he wasn't creepy at all and definitely wasn't hitting on me. He was well-spoken and clearly not intoxicated. So, here's the glitch. After I bought my ticket, he picked up my suitcase and walked me to the train, which was very kind of him. I stepped into the train, he placed my suitcase next to me. I turned to thank him and he was gone. It was like as soon as he let go of my suitcase, he vanished into thin air. There was practically no one else around, so he didn't disappear into a crowd or anything. I glanced all around and couldn't see him anywhere. He definitely did not get on the train with me and wasn't anywhere on the platform. If he had run off, I would have heard his footsteps, and it wasn't enough time for him to disappear from sight, even if he was running. The whole situation felt so strange. Not paranormal exactly, but surreal. Maybe I should mention that even though I was in university, I never been drunk or tried drugs and wasn't sleep deprived. I say this because there wasn't any easy explanation, such as me imagining him disappearing or anything. Any theories on what it could have been? He seemed to recognize me and think I was someone from his past. So maybe some kind of time slip? I don't know. Thanks for listening. I was incredibly grateful for my mother-in-law's help, generously covering my surgery at the hospital she works at. My husband thinks that's why I became more polite and changed my mind about not having kids. But really, it's because how much she can hurt me now using the peacemaker she put inside me if I don't obey. Was I his glitch? By Anonymoose. I thought I'd send you this weird story that happened a while back. I might think of this because I read and listen to too many Glitch in the Matrix stories, but it was an interesting thought to me, so I thought your listeners might enjoy it as well. This happened around the spring or summer of 2022. I own an older 2-door car that I like to turn on at all my brakes just to make sure she is good. This is more important in the winter months, but since I don't want to lose the habit, I do it all year round. I like to park far away from the hardware store I work at so no one parks too close to me. The doors are too big and it's a pain if anyone parks next to me to get out. So I have my lunch in hand, walk to my car, and notice an RV next to my car. They're one spot over, so it's not a big deal, but I remember thinking it was odd to see one this late into the day. I do see them when I come in because they are crashing in the lot or on the road next to the lot for the night. We're in the middle of nowhere. I get it. I get into my car, look at my gas gauge, and realize I need gas. I look up to see the man walking to the RV. He's staring at me, and I at him for a moment. I wait for him to get to his RV before I pull off to go get the gas and decide to get a drink as well. I come back and park in the same spot. It's my spot. You can't have it. And the RV is still there. Now, I'm confused because I saw the owner of that RV get inside it, and I assumed that he was about to drive away himself, but whatever. Now, this is when I think I made him think things glitched. He walked out of the store yet again, and there I was sitting again in that old beat-up car in the same spot. He saw me pull away, but now here I am again. He was staring intensely at my car and me, more than he did before. My car sticks out because it's 1, old, 2, rusted a lot, and 3, really loud. He does end up going back into his RV and after a few minutes driving off to who knows where. So I think I was this poor man's glitch. Thought it'd be an interesting story to share, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wish I always knew how to make my parents happy, I told the genie, thinking that there could be no monkey's paw to such a simple wish. But now, every time I hear them sigh, all I can hear in my head is, kill yourself. "2017, a hell of a year." By Dramatic 522. 2017 was a hell of a year. My mom died of cancer. She was diagnosed in 2015, and she was told she had 9 months to live. She was a fighter, though, and she told me she wanted to see my son, her grandson, grow up. He was 5 in 2017. She adored him. We lived with her in 2017. I was mother to my son, daughter, and caretaker to my dying mother. I would take her to all her appointments with her oncologist and radiologist. Most people put their appointments on their calendars in their smartphone. I put it in a yearly planner that I carried in my purse. Called me old school, but I carried that little book around, ready to add the next chemo appointment for her, ready to add the next pediatrician appointment for him. It was about a 3.5 by 6 teal green book. 2017 written on the cover in glitch lettering. My mom succumbed to cancer on September 4th, 2017. It fell on Labor Day that year. She died in our little 2-bedroom apartment. She had lived there for over 20 years. When she had died, I began looking for a place for my son and I to live. It was a difficult transition period for us. We were brokenhearted and scared for the future. I had to find us a place to live ASAP. I found our place, so we moved in December 1st, 2017. By the end of 2017, that little teal book was a bit beaten up. Its pages full of past appointments, passwords, and notes. Our new life started in 2018. New place, new job, new responsibilities. A fresh start. We went about our new lives, unpacking the boxes, settling ourselves and our belongings into place. Eventually, the years rolled by, as they always do. It is now 2022. My son is almost 11. He remembers his Nana. We talk about her a lot. He likes to watch videos of them together, when she still had stunning head of hair, with that distinct white swoop of hair in the front. It hurts to see her bald and ravaged by chemo and radiation, though. We don't like those pictures of her then. I lost track of that little teal yearly planner, not sure what happened to it. I haven't even thought of it in years. I've been going through a very trying period since September this year. I lost my job. I was terminated for nonsense. My son got COVID for the second time and he developed long COVID. I got another job, but I had to leave it because of how sick my son was. He needed me home with him. My car's transmission went out and needed $4,000 in repair that I couldn't afford while on unemployment. Unemployment stopped sending me checks because I no longer had transportation, thus I wasn't considered available for work. I was at one of the lowest periods in my life. In November, on some random Sunday, I was doing my usual laundry, several loads. I get to the bottom of my laundry basket, and there, on the bottom, was my 2017 yearly planner. I hadn't seen this planner in over 5 years. I asked my son if he had found it and where he found it. He didn't. He said he never even seen it before. He didn't remember it whatsoever. I do laundry weekly and empty the hamper every single time. I don't know if this was some weird glitch, some weird ghostly encounter, but it feels like a mix of the two. All I can say for sure is 2017 was a hell of a year. Everyone keeps saying I'm not remembering the night my father abandoned our family, but I remember it like it was yesterday. He went into my room with his shotgun after I told him a monster was in my closet, but he never came back out again. My cat found a wormhole and then pretended nothing happened. By Spattenberg. Background. I have a young cat who is really smart and really naughty. She's allowed outside during the day, but she's also afraid of birds. So she prefers it if me or my partner are outside with her. However, she really wants to be out at night so badly, and she knows she's not allowed. She used to try to bolt if the door was open even for a second, but we wised up to her and now she tries to be stealthy. It doesn't work on me because I got her number, but my partner can be oblivious sometimes and she'll take the opportunity to slip out. I like to read, smoke, and drink on the back deck at night, and there's a huge glass paneled door that she can jealously watch me through. Sometimes she stays by the door the entire time, especially when the moths are out. But sometimes she gets bored and goes to her spot on the couch. And now, for story time. One night, I'm out reading and drinking, and I hear a soft thump on the deck. I look up, and there she is, that little rat. I start scalding her for being out at night, assuming my partner accidentally let her out. And she ignores me, doing her usual routine of standing up on her haunches and smelling this particular spot on the wall. It's an unusual posture, and it looks really funny and distinctive. As I'm still scalding her, she meranders under the table just out of my reach. I look under, and she seems to have disappeared into the shadows. I know she'll eventually want to come back in, so I don't pressure her. That just makes her stay away. So I get up to go in and refill my drink and berate my partner. And what do I see? She's in her spot on the couch, completely passed out to sleep. I start yelling for my partner, and she wakes up slightly, looking at me through drowsy eyes. I saw her outside less than 2 minutes ago, and my partner said they hadn't gone out at all recently. I wonder if there was a cat who looked like her, but she's so distinctive down to her extra hangy primordial pouch and silly little quirks, and clearly the cat outside knew me and was comfortable with me. We also don't have many strays around here because we border the wilderness and they can't survive. I know all my neighbors' cats and they definitely do not look or act like mine. Was she astral projecting? Was I seen into the future or the past? Or does my cat have a doppelganger? Is $5 a good deal for selling an entire bin of used clothes on Once Upon a Child? I guess I don't even care about the cash, but I'm definitely getting a kick out of the idea that eventually a parent might see and recognize the clothes their kid was last seen wearing. The Man on the Train, Time Traveler, by Violet of the Night. I commented this on another post, but thought it'd be worthy of its own post. Would be interested to learn if anyone else here has experienced something similar. When I was 18 in the mid-2000s, a guy sat next to me on the train as I was heading back to uni. And for the whole journey, he kept talking about things that didn't quite make sense. I felt like I knew him, and he was talking as if we were long-lost friends. He didn't seem to have any mental health issues, was intelligent, and seemed to speak about things that connected to me on a deeper level. He kept drinking small bottles of whiskey, the kind you get on a train, and seemed to be enjoying everything that was happening like it was all new to him. His confidence was off the charts, not in a player type of way, but as if he was from a slightly more free and socially advanced culture. There was a definite vibe of he's not from here. The tone of the conversation for the hour trip was of him both teaching me about life and building my confidence up, which I felt was strange given that I had no idea who he was. For the whole time, I felt a strange sensation that there was some sort of different vibration about him. Like, he didn't quite fit in with his surroundings and all the other people. Almost on a molecular level. Like, there was a bubble around him. It was very odd. For reference, he appeared to be in his late 20s, wore black, had black facial hair and black, not so long, but not short hair, and had a very healthy vibe about him. Eventually arrived at the station, and as I was getting off the train, he put his hand on my shoulder, looked into my eyes with reveille, like I was some sort of holy figure, LOL, and said, "You're a great person." And I felt a general emotion from him that was far too strong for the circumstances. Then he walked away, the wrong way, and disappeared into the crowd. I looked for him through the people, but couldn't see him at all. He just disappeared. For years, I wondered if he was a time traveler that came back to give me a message. Who knows? Maybe he was. Anyone else experience anything similar, or can shed any light on what this could have been? As I carried the last of the moving boxes in from the car to our new home, the thick snow crunching under my feet, my son asked if he could explore our back garden as I began to unpack. After 9 months of searching, the snow had finally thawed, and with it, the ice over the lake. Assigned seat number changes halfway through a football game. By NotEvenCreative. My uncle and I went to the bus game a few weeks ago, and his friend wasn't able to make it, so we used his season tickets to go to the game. As we scanned the tickets, we asked the worker how to get to our seats. My uncle and I vividly remember the tickets saying Section 235, Row W, Seat 4 and 5. So the worker points us to that direction of the Section 235, and we go find our seats. I double check our tickets before we get to our section just to make sure we are finding the correct seats, and I confirmed it said Section 235, Row W, Seats 4 and 5. I then ask an usher to confirm where our seats are. He points us to the right direction towards Row W after looking at our tickets. So we go over to Row W and see there are people sitting in our seats already. No big deal, we thought. We could just hop around in that section until we felt like asking them to move when the game got busier. Eventually, we are asked to move to our seats, so we go back to Row W and ask the people there to politely move since those were our seats. The two guys sitting in seat 4 and 5 were very sure that those were their seats, and then showed their tickets to us, which showed that they are indeed Section 235, Row W, Seats 4 and 5. This is where we get really confused. We then pull out our tickets to show them that these are our seats, only for it to say we are in Section 235, Row B, Seats 1 and 2. What the hell? Our tickets seamlessly changed from Row W, Seats 4 and 5, to Row B, Seats 1 and 2. We'd had absolutely no clue how that could be possible, as we had ushers confirm multiple times where our seats were throughout the first half of the game, while making mental notes of our exact row and seat numbers so I wouldn't forget. We then moved down to our new seats and just sat in absolute confusion as to how that could have even happened. It makes sense that Row B, Seats 1 and 2 were the correct seats all along, as we saw some friends behind us who were asking the usual friends where they have the season tickets. We told them what happened and they couldn't make sense of it either, and jokingly suggested we were probably too drunk to notice the difference. However, I was sober and had multiple ushers confirm what the previous seat said before the mysterious switch. There is likely a reasonable explanation for this, but my uncle and I still scratch our heads wondering how that happened. We both vividly remember the same details and just don't know what the hell happened that day. Any thoughts? The virus wiped out about 99% of the entire human female population on Earth. As one of the few remaining, I gripped the kitchen knife tightly in my hand, knowing that I had to make a choice. Missing/reappearing rubber earbud band. By wenchitywrenchwench. Sometimes I feel like I must be drawing these experiences to myself by coming to read this forum. But it's so chicken versus the egg at this point that it's impossible to tell. Something happens, and then I think to come here, and on the odd time I come here on my own accord, something usually happens. Maybe simply because it was overdue for it anyways, and the timing is just synced up. Who knows? I was really thinking about that because of something I heard a while back though. They say that the visitors at Skinwalker Ranch reportedly come home and experience those things in their own homes, and that then their spouses and coworkers begin to experience the same things as well. Almost as if these experiences are contagious. Or perhaps our mere awareness of them catches the otherworldly's attention and shines a spotlight on us in a sea of dark people, so that we're now at the forefront of their awareness. As they may then view us as their best bet at communication with this side since we see/notice them and their antics. Many/most do their best to ignore even when they do see. And I know in some cultures they say not to acknowledge anything abnormal ever, lest you attract its attention and garner more of it. I've also heard stories of people trying to ignore it all and having that ramp things up even more. So I think it's probably never going to be a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. As much as I would love to nail it down into one easy and uniform explanation. The glitch this morning was a weird one to have happen to me, but not weird as a whole since I've now read about versions of this in here countless times in the last few years. I've had a lot of glitches of my own, especially with disappearing and reappearing items. But I never lost something mid-air and had it reappear so blatantly. Don't know how else to put it. I'm just so glad he was with me to witness it. Anyhow, I was walking with my husband and it was just turning light outside, so it was still basically dark out for reference. I had my left earbud in. Earfun Pro is the brand/model. And this earbud has a rubber band that goes around the midsection and has a rubber lip that sticks out to better wedge into your ear. Some I've had are built in, but this one comes off so you can swap it out with a bigger size lip one, I'm assuming. I never changed mine out, but I know that it comes off because I had it happen the other day and made a note to look for the bag with the extra sizes so that I could find the one that was more snug, if possible. I went to take out my earbud and felt the rubber band slip and start to fall off, and I tried to cradle my fingers to catch it before it fell to the ground, and wasn't able to be quick enough. I didn't hear it hit the ground, and I would be highly unlikely to, but it fell from my hand, so that was the option. So we stopped and pulled out our phone lights and looked for a few minutes, baffled that it wasn't immediately located because we were in a spot that didn't have leaves. But we couldn't find it, and I said, screw it, let's do our walk, it'll be lighter by the time we swing back and we'll find it then. Thinking it wasn't that big of a deal regardless. I knew I realistically did not keep that bag of extras and that it was a long shot to think I could find them. But I'd been debating some new headphones lately anyhow, so I put it out of my mind. We do our walk and come back, look around the area to no avail once more, and then give up and go inside. Fast forward to 4 hours later when I walk out of my bathroom, where I had been standing at the sink putting water into my dog's food bowl, dehydrated kind that rehydrates, only to walk back in and see the earbud band laying in the middle of the bathroom floor where I had just been standing a second prior. The empty bathroom floor, mind you, that I had already been on my hands and knees clean earlier because I had spilled dog food and was picking up all the pieces. There was no clutter near it, nothing on the counters to fall off, no pockets I was wearing that it could have hitched a ride and transferred in either. I've thought of everything I possibly can, and I had already had my husband check my clothing and hair outside, multiple times. So, to sum it up, I literally lost this earbud piece mid-air, outside, hours prior, and then had it somehow neatly deposited indoors right where I had been standing, on a floor I had just cleaned, in a room I'd been in and out of multiple times, in the blink of an eye. Additional details. There was no one else in the house, or even in that room other than us. My husband was in the house as well, but he went straight downstairs to jump on a work call right when we came home, and hadn't come upstairs yet by the time I found it. Another detail here. If it had been the floor for any length of time, my 2 dogs and or cat would have gone full, "Look at me, I have your shit and it's air hockey o'clock" on it. And I'm using those caps exactly how I mean them, because after 20 seconds of something being on the floor, that's the energy that erupts, because nothing gets played with if it doesn't get your immediate attention. So my point is, that's another oddity to the situation. An untouched, mouthable new item in dead center of the floor that nobody was fucking with, but everybody was in plain sight of? Last thing I can think of is that I asked for it back about 20 minutes prior to finding it, and that it had been where I was standing when I asked for it. So, that's it. That's the latest glitch. Now off to go and try and lose my wallet. After 12 bodies were found in the mine shaft due to a workplace accident, the police shut down the entire facility. The facility manager was furious until the police showed them the CCTV footage, which showed that only 11 people went into the mine shaft. And with that, my friends, our time together is coming to an end. As always, I would like to thank the writers who let me read their stories today. I always find it hard to comment on the glitch stories, because each one is quite different and makes you question things in different ways. The guy at the train station who seemed to be waiting 30 years for a 21-year-old, that one was weird. And also the one where the person thinks maybe they were the glitch is an odd thought. It makes you wonder if sometimes you just are missing the pieces to realize it wasn't a glitch. Also, the cat that found the wormhole. I have a very sneaky and fast cat now, and she really doesn't need to find wormholes on top of everything else. She knows how to get in trouble, and if she found a wormhole, we'd never find that darn cat. And I would also like to thank As the Raven Dreams for making the video thumbnail today. If you haven't checked him out already, well, the links are down below as always. But of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you're new, subscribe and turn that pretty little bell to all notifications. And if you'd like to help this channel/podcast grow, please just share it with anyone who might enjoy it. It seriously helps, guys. If you would like other things like early access to the audios, well, I do have Patreon and memberships. And if you like to get other things, I do have merch, and if you just like to buy me a coffee, PayPal. All these things will never be expected, but always appreciated, guys. Really, just having people listen, comment, liking, all those things really make my world. But let me get you that Sunday word so I can get a really good comment out of ya. On screen right now is everyone I convinced to leave me a story last week. Thank you guys as always. I really look forward to these comments. Now let's move on to this Sunday's word, which should really brighten your day and mine, because it's sunrise. And truth be told, I just picked this word because I just thought it'd be fun to see what you can do with it. So as always, just write me a comment down below if you're on YouTube, or at me at Twitter, 242reads, links down below as well, and write me a sentence and you'll be in next week's video/photo. But now that all the YouTube things are out of the way, as always, just having you guys watch and listen, liking, it really means a lot to me, guys. Thank you so much. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.